afternoon Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference tournament matchup between the Titans of Indiana University South Bend and the Cougars of St. Xavier University. At this time, let's introduce today's starting lineups first for the Titans. Leading off and playing right field, number 20, Jaden Cummings. Batting second, doing the catching, number 23, Luis Termero. Batting third and playing center field, number 3, JoJo Nelson. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 34, Brent Goodman. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 2, Nick Turner. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 7, Jack Barnes. Batting seventh and playing third base, number 9, Sam Garner. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, number 14, Lennox Estremera. And batting ninth and playing second base, number 1, Lucas Brown. On the mound for the Titans, wearing the number 22, Gavin Lake. And now the starting lineup for the Cougars of St. Xavier University. Leading off and playing right field, number 1, Shane Brozek. Batting second and playing second base, number 9, Max Wiskevich. Batting third and playing first base, number 26, John Simisek. Batting fourth and playing left field, number 10, Parker Violet. Batting fifth and playing shortstop, number 18, Trevor Corbin. Batting sixth and doing the catching, number 34, Aaron Orzak. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 79, Noah Dreyer. Batting eighth and playing third base, number 2, Bo Palicki. And batting ninth and playing center field, number 19, Ben Meyer. On the mound for the Cougars, wearing the number 4, Trent Marksevich.
Good evening from Joliet, Illinois and Slammers Stadium. The host of the 2026 CCAC Baseball Tournament. Game number 2 of the week is just about set to begin as the third-seeded Cougars of St. Xavier University take on the sixth-seeded Indiana University South Bend. Welcome to today's broadcast. My name is Terry Bonadonna on the call for today as we look to follow up on what was a blowout in Game 1, the 4-5 game. Judson took out the hosts of this weekend's tournament, St. Francis. Maybe a little bit more competitive this evening as St. Xavier tries to stay hot against Indiana South Bend. The Cougars swept the Titans over the course of the regular season. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. We'll start with the visiting side for IUSB. Leading off and playing right field is Jaden Cummings. The catcher, Luis Termero, bats second. Josiah Nelson is in center field. Batting cleanup, first baseman Clint Goodman. Nick Turner is the designated hitter. Batting sixth, left fielder Jack Barnes. Sam Garner hits seventh at third base. Lennox Estremera is the shortstop. And batting ninth, second baseman Lucas Brown. The starting pitcher that they'll be facing today is St. Xavier's Trent Markizich. He's been one of the better pitchers in the conference, the number 2 starter this season for the Cougars. Markizich is making his 10th start of the year. He's 4-2 with a 3.31 earned run average. In 49 innings pitched, he's allowed 24 runs, 18 of them earned on 50 hits. He has 36 strikeouts. He's walked 10 batters this year. He's allowed a 266 opponent's batting average, and he is on the mound ready to get today's game rolling. First pitch of the evening is swung on and missed for strike one. We're underway at 5:57 p.m. Central Daylight Time. It's 0-1 on Jaden Cummings. The next pitch to Cummings is swatted foul to the right side. He's in a quick 0-2 hole. Game 1, as I mentioned, went to Judson. The Eagles took out the Fighting Saints of St. Francis by a 10-0 final score, which means Judson advances to tomorrow to take on the number 1 seed St. Ambrose. Check swing, he went around. Cummings goes down swinging. A 3-pitch strikeout for Trent Marquezich and a good start for the Cougars today. 1 up, 1 down in the top of the first inning. Strikeout number 37 this season for Marquezich. And now he faces Luis Termero, the .305 hitter for Indiana South Bend. Big power bat near the top of the order for the Titans. 10 home runs to lead the team. Also leads the team with 45 runs batted in. First pitch to him is knocked foul to the right side for strike 1. St. Francis, who lost game 1 of today's tournament, will advance to tomorrow as well, but they move into the loser's bracket, as will the loser of this game, as that's knocked hard and foul to the left side, strike 2. Double elimination tournament, so both of these teams will play tomorrow. The winner will take on Olivet Nazarene, which is the 2 seed tomorrow afternoon. Knocked into right field, sinking but not fast enough as Shea Brozek comes in and makes the catch. 2 up, 2 down, a very good start for Trent Marquezich, who has thrown 6 pitches, hasn't missed the strike zone yet, and has recorded 2 quick outs. Here's JoJo Nelson, the center fielder for Indiana South Bend. Nelson is hitting .342. 8 home runs, 41 RBIs. He has been sensational this year for the Titans. We'll see if he can roll that into the postseason as he takes strike 1 from Marquezich. Marquezich continues to pound the strike zone throughout the first inning of today's game. 2 outs, nobody on. The 0-1 taken for a strike, another 0-2 count. It's so hard to be a hitter in an 0-2 count. And 3 consecutive guys have had to do it for Indiana South Bend. We'll see if Marquezich can put this one away. Fouled back off the mask of catcher Aaron Orzek. The at-bat stays alive. First time that Marquezich will have had to throw more than 3 pitches in an at-bat. This next offering will be his 10th of the inning. And potentially the last one as he tries to get through a perfect first. Another 0-2. Fly ball into shallow center field. Racing in is Ben Meyer. He gives way to the second baseman, Max Waskevich, who backs up and makes the catch to end the inning. A 10-pitch inning for Marquezich. Didn't throw a single ball as he retires the Titans 1-2-3. Good start for the 3 seed. Cougars will come to bat in the bottom of the first inning. Bottom of the first inning, no score as the Titans went down 1-2-3 in the top half of the first. St. Xavier will come to bat for the first time with their right fielder, Shea Brozak, leading things off. Batting second is second baseman Max Waskevich. Hitting third, first baseman John Simicek. The left fielder and cleanup hitter is Parker Violet. At shortstop, Trevor Corbett. Aaron Orzek hits sixth and does the catching. Noah Dreyer is the designated hitter. Bo Palicki bats eighth at third base. And batting ninth, center fielder Ben Meyer. The starting pitcher for Indiana South Bend today is Gavin Lake. Lake is a junior out of Ontario, transferred in from Southeastern Illinois Community College. On the season, he's 4-4 with a .663 ERA over 12 appearances, including 11 starts. He's thrown 3 complete games, 57 total innings, which ranks second on the team. He's allowed 49 runs, 42 of them earned on 64 hits. 52 strikeouts, 30 walks so far this season for Gavin Lake, who's hoping that this is not his last start of the year. I think everybody reaches that point when you get to this time of year. You hope that you're not pitching for the last time. Indiana South Bend knows they have a minimum of 2 games remaining, including this one. You have to lose twice to get knocked out of this tournament. The 6th seed Titans of South Bend are the lowest seeded team in the tournament. It is 6 out of the 9 teams in the CCAC that qualify. So the odds are against them, but they would like to defy those odds as the equipment is now secured by all players on the field, including catcher Luis Termero, and we're ready to go. First pitch from Gavin Lake misses down low for ball 1 on Shea Brozak. Not used to saying that. We didn't see a single ball thrown in the top half of the first inning. Brozak takes a strike. That evens things up at 1-1. Shea Brozak's hitting .333 this year, 1 home run, 30 RBIs. You'd like to keep him off the bases because he runs awfully well when he gets on. Fouled back 1-2, but you could say the same thing for pretty much everybody on Pat Morrow's St. Xavier team. They run. 5 different players have 20 or more stolen bases. They have 7 guys with at least 10 stolen bases. The 1-2 is fouled away by Brozak, still 1-2. Shea Brozak finished 1 off the team lead with 25 steals this year. As a team, St. Xavier had 173 of them. Both of these teams like to run, so expect to see the catchers challenged in this one. Fouled back, still 1-2. Of course, that is entirely contingent on batters getting on base, because if that doesn't happen, we're not going to see a whole lot of stolen bases. Nobody has reached just yet. Brozak tries to change that as he takes a ball low and in, 2-2. Indiana South Bend finished the regular season this year 21-29 overall. They are an even 16-16 in conference play, finishing 2 games better than Trinity Christian. Popped up, shallow center field. JoJo Nelson comes in, still coming, finally makes the catch, sending away the second baseman Lucas Brown, who drifted back on it. 1 up, 1 down in the bottom of the first inning. Trinity Christian tried to make a late run to get into the conference tournament. Finished just a little bit short, 14-18 compared to Indiana South Bend 16-16, which means the Trolls have played their final baseball game. As Waskevich digs in, second baseman and number 2 hitter takes ball 1 inside. Max Waskevich hits .359 for the year. 2 homers, 24 runs batted in, a .472 on-base percentage, and a team best 26 steals when he gets on. There's a bouncer to the shortstop. Charging Estremera, throws to first in time, 2 down. Good play by Lennox Estremera. I was just talking about how speedy Max Waskevich can be. So in order to keep him off the base paths on a softly hit ground ball like that, you have to make the play flawlessly. That's exactly what Estremera did. 2 up, 2 down, and the batter will be John Simicek. First 5 batters combined in this game have been retired. First pitch from Lake to Simicek is over the inside corner for strike 1. As I was saying about Trinity Christian, they announced that the school is closing at the end of the year, so they were hoping they could make one last run through the CCAC tournament, but Indiana South Bend held them off on the final day. Bounced foul to the left side, 0-2. All the Titans needed to do was win that last game. They did. Trinity Christian lost, meaning it turned into a 2-game deficit for the Trolls, and the Titans were able to walk into the tournament. The 0-2. Chopper to short. Another chance over there for Estremera. This one a little bit easier for him as he fires to first to retire Simicek. Sharp work in the first inning for both starting pitchers. We'll go to the second, scoreless in Joliet. If you like pitching, you must have loved the first inning today. Neither team scored. Neither team had a base runner. Both sides were set down 1-2-3. And in the case of St. Xavier's starter, Trent Markizich, didn't miss the strike zone even a single time. Threw only 10 pitches in his clean first inning. He faces Clint Goodman to begin the second. And the first pitch to Goodman is taken outside for ball 1. First ball thrown today by Markizich. We'll see if it starts a trend. Indiana South Bend looks to get their first base runner of the day. Clint Goodman, the cleanup batter, swings on 1-0 and grounds it weakly to the shortstop. Trevor Corbett fires to first. 1 up, 1 down in the second. That's what you call a quick recovery from Markizich. Finally threw his first ball, but retired Goodman just 1 pitch later. And that'll bring up Nick Turner with 1 out and nobody on in the second inning. Turner's hitting .267. 3 homers, 33 RBIs this year. A left-handed bat in the middle of the Titans batting order. He swings the first pitch, hits it a mile high right at home plate. Aaron Orzak makes his way up the first base line and makes the catch in foul territory for the second out. Nice play by Aaron Orzak. It's never all that easy to read one of those as a catcher, as the ball spins up above your head, and it went a long way up. It looked like it might come straight down in the batter's box, but it did drift about 10 to 15 feet down the first base line. Orzak was able to make the grab in foul ground, 2 outs. Here's Barnes. Barnes takes ball 1. Markizich went so quickly through the first 3 hitters in the first inning. Amazing to say that the second has a chance to be even more successful as he misses low 2-0. Just because of how efficient he's been. This is already the longest at bat of the inning. 2 balls, no strikes. Got those first 2 outs on just 3 pitches. Trying to get this one on 3 pitches as well. He fires a strike. It's 2-1. Jack Barnes this year is hitting .250. And he adds a few points to that batting average as he laces a single into center field. First hit of the ball game, first base runner for either team. It comes with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. Jack Barnes picks up his 37th hit this year and brings up the number 7 batter, Sam Garner. Garner at .284 this year has not homered. He does have 5 extra base hits, 15 RBIs for him. Trying to make it a 2-out rally. There's a ground ball to the shortstop. Charging is Trevor Corbett. Throws off balance over to first. Good play by Corbett. And the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left at first base. We go to the bottom of the second, scoreless in Joliet. No score after the first inning and a half of our 9-inning ball game today. It's the bottom of the second. Violet, Corbett, and Orzik are due up against the right-hander Gavin Lake. Lake looked pretty sharp in the first inning. He's off to a good start here in the second as he fires over strike 1. Gavin Lake is a junior. The starter for St. Xavier today is a senior, Trent Markizich. The 0-1 to Violet. Ground ball to third base. Backing up 1 step, Sam Garner gloves and throws. 3 straight ground outs recorded by Gavin Lake. 4 up, 4 down against him overall. Good start today for Lake. Trying to come to life late in the year. When these two teams matched up during the regular season, they played a 4-game series. St. Xavier won all 4 of those games. Most of them were not very close. Really only 1 of the 4 was. And Indiana South Bend was not able to keep St. Xavier's offense off the board. Ball 1 inside on Corbett. Trevor Corbett bats for the first time, a .291 hitter with a homer and 31 RBIs. Sharp grounder through the hole on the left side. First hit of the game for St. Xavier. The Cougars have a man at first base. It's a single for Trevor Corbett with 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. And that'll bring up Aaron Orzik. Aaron Orzik is the catcher for St. Xavier. This year he's hit .197. 13 extra base hits, including 3 home runs. 25 RBIs for the Cougars' number 6 hitter. Orzik takes ball one low. First time he's had to pitch with a runner on base. We'll see how he adjusts. The runner over there is Trevor Corbett, who is one of so many Cougars who likes to run. Ball low, 2-0. 14 stolen bases this year for Corbett. That is not among the top 5 base stealers on the team, but he does have the best percentage of any of those guys who are in the top 6. 14 of 16 for Corbett this year. There's a looper over to the shortstop. Leaping attempt made by Estremera, but it's off his glove. He throws over to second base and can't get it there accurately. So Corbett slides in safely. Orzik is safe at first base. 2 on with only 1 out. Very tough play for Lennox Estremera. Nearly came up with it, though. Second hit in a row for SXU. They've got him at first and second now with only 1 down. And the batter is Noah Dreyer. Big spot here for Gavin Lake. Trying to get through this second inning. There is a courtesy runner over at first base. So Aaron Orzik does not have to run for himself. He can head back to the dugout and get ready for the next inning. Peyton Panazzo is the pinch runner. Dreyer takes ball 1 inside. Just 1 out this inning. Trent Markizich is off to a great start, so the Cougars will feel good about themselves if they can get just a run or 2 here. Doesn't have to be a huge inning for them to have a success. The runners dance, they don't go anywhere, and the pitch is taken to the knees for a strike. 1-1 on Noah Dreyer. 356 hitter with 7 homers and 18 RBIs. He's playing in just his 20th game of the season. Line drive to the shortstop, gloved on the short hop by Estremera, who flips to second for 1. The relay from Lucas Brown is in time. It's a 6-4-3 double play. Good play by Estremera, waiting back and playing it on the bounce. Rather than charging and trying to make the catch, he turns it into 2. And despite a couple of hits, first of the game for the Cougars, they don't score. We go to the bottom, or rather the top now, of the 3rd inning. And we're scoreless.
Number 14, Lennox Estremera.
No score after 2 full innings. Game number 2 of the CCAC tournament. Judson was already a winner earlier today, and now either St. Xavier or Indiana South Bend will join them in the winner's bracket as Lennox Estremera leads things off for the Titans and takes ball one low. Estremera, Brown, and Cummings due up, the first two of whom will be getting their first looks at Trent Markizich, who's looked awfully good so far. Fouled back, 1-1. Lennox Estremera entering today's ball game is hitting just 167 this year, 13 RBIs. We've already gotten a little taste of why he's in the lineup and why he's been in the lineup for 34 of his team's 51 games. Fouled back, 1-2. Even though he has not overall hit the ball much this year, he has played excellent defense. He's played excellent defense today. We're only 2 innings into the game. He's already made a few plays. Hits this one on the ground over to Wiskavich. He throws to first, and the leadoff batter is retired for the 3rd consecutive inning. Another good start for Trent Markizich, who has not struck anybody out since the first batter of the game. He got Jaden Cummings on 3 pitches. Since then, everybody's put it in play, but only one player has flown to the outfield. Everyone else has hit it on the ground with a couple of infield pop-ups thrown in there as well. Lucas Brown takes ball one. Brown is the second baseman, a veteran college player. Another Canadian, this one out of Monroe Community College, but originally from Toronto. He takes a strike to even the count. A couple of key Canadians on this Indiana South Bend team. Ball 2. It's a hitter's count. 2-1 on Lucas Brown, the number 9 batter, hitting for the first time today. Brown is hitting .300 with 22 runs batted in. Popped up foul to the left side and out of play. Count evens 2-2. Back to the top of the order after this at-bat. Jaden Cummings is waiting on deck. Indiana South Bend trying to strike first today, but it's hard to do that when you can't get base runners on early in the inning. Ball inside, 3-2. Of course, it's hard to do it if you can't get base runners at all. They've been hard to come by against Markizich, who has retired 7 of the first 8 he's faced. See if it's 8 of 9 or 7 of 9, potentially after this 3-2 pitch. Driven out to right field, deep down the line, into the corners, leaping out in right field is Shea Brozek, who makes the catch. Nice play to rob Lucas Brown of extra bases, 2 down. Not an easy play by any means. Really well done by Brozek on what has been a day where it's hard to make contact. That is the hardest contact we've seen. But it turns into a loud out for Brown, and now with 2 outs and the bases empty, it's back to the top of the order in Jaden Cummings. Cummings takes ball 1. The Titans are making Markizich work a little bit harder now. Longer at bats here in the 3rd inning, but the same results. First 2 batters are out. The 3rd one is ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Different type of at bat this time. The first time Cummings was up, he struck out on just 3 pitches. Swing and a miss. 2-1. No score, top of the 3rd inning. There have been just 3 total hits between the 2 teams, and they've all been singles. Down low, 3-1. If Cummings reaches, Luis Termero will bat next. Not a bat that Markizich wants to see at the plate with a runner on base. There's a high pop-up behind home plate back towards the press box and up onto the roof. Count goes full. Three and 2 on Cummings, hoping to keep the inning alive for Termero. Liner to the center of the field, behind second base. It's gloved by Wiskavich, and he throws to first for the 3rd out of the inning. right over the head of the pitcher. It lands in the vicinity of second. Wiscavage had it played perfectly. It's another 1-2-3 inning worked by Trent Markizic. In the bottom of the third, we've got no score.
Leading off for the Cougars, the third baseman, number 2, Bo Pelicki.
8-9-1 due up for St. Xavier in the bottom of the third, trying to break a scoreless tie. Gavin Lake's been good through 2 innings. He's allowed only 2 base runners, both on second inning singles, as the first pitch to Bo Pelicki is chopped up the middle. Ranging to his right to field that ball, Lucas Brown makes a nice throw to first. The leadoff batter is retired for St. Xavier. We have not yet seen an inning in which the leadoff man has reached base, which makes scoring difficult, which makes the 0-0 count on the board not so surprising. Here's Meyer, the center fielder. Ben Meyer, junior for St. Xavier from Kentucky originally, swings through the first pitch for strike 1. It looked like the Cougars were threatening in the second inning after the first 4 batters of the game were retired. Back-to-back singles mounted a serious threat. And then a couple of pitches later, all their dreams were squashed by a double play as Ben Meyer fouls it back. 0-2. Meyer's a .265 hitter with 2 homers and 26 RBIs. Whether by offensive or pitching numbers, this St. Xavier team is far superior on paper than Indiana South Bend. That's popped foul and out of play, still 0-2. Cougars finished this year 31-17, 21-11 in conference, which is 5 games better than IUSB was. Another 0-2 pitch with 1 out, coming to Ben Meyer. And Meyer hits it in the air to right center field. Nelson and Cummings converge. It's Jaden Cummings making the catch. 2 up, 2 down in the third, and a chance for a second 1-2-3 inning of the game for Gavin Lake. Standing in his way is the right fielder Shea Brozak. Shea Brozak is that rare human being who has 2 Z's in his name. He takes a ball low. B-R-O-Z-E-K. You probably know that part as Brozak, but did you further know that he's got a Z at the front of his name? Fouled away 1-1. That one is silent. It's Z-B-R-O-Z-E-K. Brozak. And Brozak, who popped out to center field in the first inning, is in a 1-1 count here. Gavin Lake's been effective so far. He's been efficient so far. Has not thrown very many pitches. He'd like to stay that way, considering how tough this St. Xavier lineup is and how taxed the IUSB bullpen is going to be if they have to start using guys early in game 1 of this conference tournament this weekend. 1-1. Low, ball 2. There have been just 3 total hits in this game. Strike called, 2-2. All 3 hits have been singles, 2 for St. Xavier, 1 for IUSB. 2-2. Fouled away. Brozak's done a good job of keeping at bats alive. He did it in the first, saw 6 pitches before popping out to center on the 7th. This will be the 6th pitch of this at bat. Two and two. Swing and a miss. The inning is over. A 1-2-3 frame worked by Gavin Lake. He has his first strikeout of the game. We'll go to the 4th. No score. We're a third away through this game. Nothing much going on just yet. Just 3 total base runners between the two sides through the first 3 innings. Luis Termero starts the top of the 4th against Trent Markizic and takes ball 1 outside. Termero is 0 for 1 with a flyout. It might not seem all that impressive, but he's the only one aside from Lucas Brown last inning who's hit the ball out of the infield. Brown also flew out to right. Fouled away, 1-1. Everybody else has been on the infield. A strikeout, a pop out, and 5 groundouts, or 4 groundouts. Just want to make sure it all adds up to 9. You tell me. 1-1 on Termero. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Trent Markizic going for St. Xavier today. Looking for win number 5 on the season. Ball high, 2-2. Hard to fathom sometimes how a guy could have only 4 wins when he's pitched as well as Markizic. There's a bouncer to the shortstop. A lot of chances today for Trevor Corbett. He makes this one no problem. 5 straight retired, 1 away. Marquisic has started 9 games coming into today and thrown 49 innings. So that gives you the answer as to why he only has the 4 wins. He only averages about 5 1/3 innings per start. JoJo Nelson swings to the first one, looking for the right center field gap. He finds it. That ball rolls all the way to the wall. Extra bases here for Termero. He's at second. He stops there. It's a 1-out double. First extra base hit of the game for either team. Second hit for IUSB. It is JoJo Nelson. Nelson has the double into right center field. First extra base hit for either team in this game. And the second hit total for the Titans. Here's Clint Goodman. Grounded out quickly in his first at bat. Big cut and a miss. Clint Goodman is hitting .305, 3 homers, 28 RBIs. The 0-1 outside, count is even. We're only in the 4th inning. It's a 1-out double for JoJo Nelson. Doesn't seem like that big a deal, but for as good as this pitcher's duel has been so far today, got to think about it. Foul tipped by Goodman, 1-2. That double, first of all, gives the Titans a runner in scoring position for the first time all game. Secondly, it shows that Marquisic is beatable. Thirdly, it takes a little pressure off when you consider that it's a 0-0 tie. This game could very easily go either way still. So to get base runners relatively early in an inning is a big boon. Goodman fouls off another. Nelson was off and running on that pitch. Josiah Nelson this season has 21 stolen bases. Mentioned the number earlier for St. Xavier. 5 different guys have 20 or more steals. For Indiana South Bend, they've got 3 of them. Goodman grounds it to short. The runner looks to advance. The throw goes to third, and it's wild. Off the facing in front of the St. Xavier dugout, Nelson decides to stay put. Goodman heads to second base on the play. A fielder's choice for the shortstop, Trevor Corbett, and a throwing error on Corbett that allows everybody to be safe and for the runner, Clint Goodman, to advance another base as well. That goes back to what I was just talking about, how valuable that base runner is because of how tight this game is. Trevor Corbett obviously thought so as well, because that was not really a smart play in that situation, but he clearly felt like that was an out they needed. And the first pitch to Nick Turner hits him on the elbow. So now the bases are loaded. Little meeting on the mound. Marquisic so good early in this game. Not so much here in the 4th. A double, a fielder's choice, which is not his fault. And how a hit by pitch. The error that occurred on the fielder's choice against Trevor Corbett allowed Clint Goodman to advance to second base. If Goodman had stayed at first, there would not have been an error, because it did not lead to a run scoring, nor did it lead to any further advance. So the only reason it's an error, again, is because Goodman advanced to second base on the play. Now they're loaded. The meeting on the mound is over, and Jack Barnes has a chance to be CCAC tournament hero with 1 out. Nelson's at third, Goodman's at second, Turner is at first. Barnes is 1 for 1 with a single. Big swing and a miss, strike one. That was a big cut from Barnes. You could tell he was looking to make this a multi-run at bat right away. We'll see if he shortens up at all now that he's in a narrow hole. No balls and one strike. Corner infielders are in. Chopper to the shortstop. Flip to second for one. Over to first. That's a double play, and the inning is over. If Barnes could have beaten the relay throw to first, it would have been a fielder's choice and a run would have scored. But on the double play, the inning ends. Nobody crosses the plate. And we will go to the bottom of the fourth inning, still tied, 0-0.
Leading off for the Cougars, the second baseman, number 9.
We're to the bottom of the fourth inning. St. Xavier coming up to bat, tied up 0-0. Cougars survived a scare in the top of the fourth, and now they'll try to put one into the Titans as well as Max Waskevich leads things off. Waskevich takes the first pitch. It's inside for ball one. Waskiewiczz. Waskevich, just how it looks. Bouncing ball to third, gloved on the short hop by Sam Garner, and the throw to first is in time to retire the leadoff man. Quick out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. I think now that we have reached the bottom of the fourth inning, it's fair to call this a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel. It was shaping up to be that way early on when neither team got a base runner in the first inning. I don't think you can quite use the term pitcher's duel yet, though, that early in the game. By the fourth, I think it's fair game as John Simicek digs in. That doesn't mean the game's not going to end 10-9. Maybe it will. First pitch swinging. Simicek hits a sharp grounder to third. Diving stop by Garner, who throws over to first. 2 away. Good play by Sam Garner. That ball wasn't hit too far to his left, but it was hit hard by John Simicek. So his initial reaction was to dive for it. If that ball had a little less juice off the bat, I think Garner would have been able to just casually take a step to his left and field it. But because it was hit so hard, he dove to make sure that he would stop it and still was able to make the strong throw to first. 2 outs on just 3 pitches here in the fourth inning. Violet swings the first one, launches it out to left center field. It's well hit but playable. JoJo Nelson fills the gap and makes the catch. It's a 4-pitch fourth inning. And we are all the way through 4. No score in this one. We head to the 5th, round 1 of the CCAC tournament. No runs on 2 hits for both teams after 4 innings. Both pitchers locked in. Trent Marquezich for St. Xavier, Gavin Lake for Indiana South Bend. It is Marquezich on the mound right now as Sam Garner leads things off for the Titans. 7, 8, and 9 due up. Garner is 0 for 1 with a ground out. He swings through the first pitch. Best scoring chance of the game came in the top of the 4th inning for IUSB. Just 1 inning ago, they loaded the bases with only 1 out. Garner takes a strike over the inside corner. A double, an error, and a hit by pitch loaded him up. And then Jack Barnes grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. It was a close play at first base, but Barnes was ruled out. Strike 3 called. Marquezich paints the outside corner and catches Garner looking. Second strikeout of the ball game for Trent Marquezich. It's his first one since the first batter of the game. I will say this for him. He is efficient in his strikeouts. The 2 times he's gotten one, they've both come in 3-pitch at-bats. Now it's Lennox Estremera taking the first pitch for ball 1. Going back to that double play that Jack Barnes grounded into to end last inning, he dove headfirst into first base. Strike over the inside corner, 1-1. There are some occasions where maybe it benefits you to dive into first, but it seems like the studies have shown typically it's faster to get there just by running through it. Fouled away, 1-2 on Estremera. And on that particular case, it really looked like the dive slowed Barnes down. I think it depends on your stride, how long your stride is. Popped foul and out of play, still 1-2. How many steps it takes to get down to first base? It felt like he kind of broke the rhythm of his run to dive into first, and that may have cost him. I'm not sure he would have been safe anyway. 2-2 on Estremera, who grounded out leading off the 3rd inning. 2-2, 1 out, nobody on base, top of the 5th, tie ball game. Marquezich into the windup. Popped up. Shallow right field. Waskevich goes back on it. Brozek comes in, but Waskevich has a beat on it. Second baseman makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down in the 5th inning. It felt like that double play was going to be a real killer for IUSB. I'm trying to just track the momentum of this game. You have a great scoring chance, don't come through, and you start to think, oh man, now we're susceptible to giving up the big inning. Well, that didn't happen. Gavin Lake threw only 4 pitches in setting the side down in order in the bottom of the 4th inning. Ball 1 on Lucas Brown. One of the harder hit balls of the game came off the bat of Lucas Brown. A hard liner out to right field in the 3rd, tracked down by Shea Brozek, who made a really nice catch on it. The 1-0 is just north of the strike zone. It's 2-0. So far, IUSB hasn't been able to capitalize on what was potentially a boost to them with getting that 4-pitch inning. Ball 3-0. It wasn't a particularly long top of the 4th for Marquezich, but he did struggle for the first time. He only threw 14 pitches in the inning, but had to face some serious drama with the bases loaded and 1 out. He fires a strike, 3-1. And so for him to have gone back to the dugout and have to go back to the mound in under 2 minutes time, there is the potential for some exasperation. Brown checks his swing and takes a strike. It's a full count. He hasn't looked exasperated. He's looked just as locked in here in the 5th as he was in the first 4 innings. He's 1 strike away from another 1-2-3 inning. Payoff to Lucas Brown. Strike 3 called. Second time this inning that Marquezich has racked up a backwards K. He's pumped up as he walks back towards the 3rd base dugout. We're scoreless at the halfway point. St. Xavier's going to try to break this scoreless tie with their 5, 6, and 7 hitters batting in the bottom of the 5th inning. Trevor Corbett leads off and takes strike 1. Corbett, freshman out of Noblesville, Indiana. Sounds like a lovely place. 1 for 1 today with a single. He takes a strike. His hit back in the 2nd inning was the first hit of the day for St. Xavier. They got another one from Aaron Orzek. They had back-to-back base hits with 1 out in the 2nd and didn't score, and subsequently haven't had a base runner. Ball 1 on Corbett. In fact, this current stretch of consecutive batters retired by Gavin Lake started with a double play to end that 2nd inning. 2-2 on Corbett. So he gave up back-to-back singles, immediately erased one of them on a double play, and hasn't let anybody on since. He's retired 7 consecutive batters, 8 outs among those 7 batters. Line drive at left field. Corbett is 2 for 2. Heading towards the line to cut it off is Jack Barnes. He's able to make the backhanded stop and fire it back to the infield, holding Corbett to a single. Big play in left field by Jack Barnes, because if that had gotten by him, we're looking at extra bases, at minimum 1 extra base, and maybe even more than that. It is a leadoff single. First leadoff base runner of the game for either team today. And we'll see what Aaron Orzek has to say about it. A potential bunting situation for him here. And Orzek doesn't have to. He gets drilled right in the back by Gavin Lake, and that puts runners at 1st and 2nd with nobody out. One of the best scoring chances we've seen in today's game for either side. 0-0 in the bottom of the 5th. The only real chance that IUSB has had was when they loaded the bases with 1 out in the 4th, but that didn't come through. St. Xavier had 2 on with 1 out in the 2nd. Now they've got 2 on with nobody out in the 5th. And Noah Dreyer coming up. He hit into a double play last time around. Both of these teams were able to turn a double play the second the opposition looked like they were primed to score. Dreyer squares to bunt this time and takes a ball high. Panazzo is running over at first base again. He's the designated courtesy runner for the catcher Aaron Orzek. So Orzek has reached base twice, and Panazzo has come in both times. Good bunt down the third base line. Garner charges, throws. It's off the mark. The ball gets away from Goodman, and Corbett comes in to score. St. Xavier strikes first on a throwing error by Sam Garner. Panazzo advances to third base on the error. Dreyer is safe at first. He was looking for a sacrifice. He ends up with a bunt single, and helped out by the throwing error from Garner. Corbett and Panazzo each move up another 90 feet, and it's 1-0 St. Xavier. Doug Boozy comes out to argue, the head coach for IUSB, and I think he might be arguing interference at first base, that Dreyer went into fair territory and got in the way of the first baseman Clint Goodman, preventing him from making the catch at first base. So the 3 umpires gather together and they collectively determine there was nothing amiss on the play. So it is a run-scoring base hit for St. Xavier. No RBI for Noah Dreyer, because Corbett did not score on his hit. He scored on the error. A run is a run. And they're at the corners, still nobody out, as the Cougars call on a pinch hitter. It is Jackson Michko. Michko is being used early in this game by St. Xavier. He's a guy who doesn't get a ton of at-bats, but when he gets them, he usually pays off. 354 hitter. First pitch to Michko with the runner on the move, taken for a strike. Throw to second is not in time. It's a stolen base for Noah Dreyer. That takes the double play out of order. St. Xavier leads 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th, and now an opportunity for them to take a big lead in the way Trent Marquisic is pitching. They might not need that many. 0-1 on Michko. High fly ball into center field. This will get another run in as JoJo Nelson backs up, makes the catch. Tagging from third base is Panazzo, and Panazzo comes in easily without a play. It's 2-0 Cougars. Sacrifice fly for Michko. That is his 25th RBI of the season. That's a pretty decent number, but it becomes a great number when you realize he has those 25 RBIs in just 66 at-bats this year. He's made a heck of an impact when he's gotten in the lineup. 2-0, Cougars lead. They've scored both runs here in the fifth, finally one out. Here's Ben Meyer. Meyer bunts foul, strike one. A bunt is the big part of the reason that the Titans are in this mess right now. Noah Dreyer dropped one down. Ended up reaching on an infield hit, capitalized on an error, and stole a base. He's at second base right now. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Lake blows a fastball by Ben Meyer, the center fielder, who flew to right field his first time up. Nothing in two. Lake looks to put him away for the second out. Popped up. Straight away. Looks like it'll stay on the infield. Second baseman Brown takes a step in to make the catch. 2 away. Two are out, 2 are in this fifth inning. Shea Brozak will be the 6th batter of the frame. Through the first 4, Gavin Lake faced only 1 batter over the minimum. And now here he's faced 6 batters in the 5th alone. Shea Brozak is 0 for 2. He's popped out and struck out. Fouled back, strike one. Dreyer's at second base, reached on the bunt single. He's been stuck at second for a little while now. 2 runs are in this inning for St. Xavier as Brozak fouls the next pitch away. And now Gavin Lake is 1 strike away from ending the inning. One of the 2 runs this inning is unearned against Gavin Lake. If he can get out of this without allowing anybody else to score, you could still say he's pitching a great ball game. But now he will rely on his offense a little bit more as it's fouled back, still 0-2. To get him personally off the hook for the loss, we know that the Titans offense will need to score at least 2 runs. Of course, it's a team game. Right now he's just concerned about keeping his team alive. In the dirt, it skips away for just an instant from Luis Termero, but that's enough to advance Noah Dreyer to third base. Good base running by Dreyer. Read that ball cleanly and took off immediately after it hit the dirt. Another 0-2 to Brozak. Poked foul. Brozak stays alive. Good at bat here. Gavin Lake doing whatever he can to try to put him away. Both starters are still in this game. St. Xavier has just broken a scoreless tie with 2 runs in the 5th. Strike 3 called. Gavin Lake has his 2nd strikeout of the game. And the 5th inning comes to a close, but not before St. Xavier takes control of this one. They scored 2 runs on 2 hits, 1 error. They leave a runner at third base. We'll go to the 6th. 2-0, St. Xavier. 2-0 St. Xavier after they played at a pair of runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Top of the order due up for IUSB here in the 6th. Cummings, Termero, and Nelson. And the first pitch from Trent Markizic misses for ball 1. Markizic is throwing a gem so far. We'll see if his approach changes at all now that for the first time all game he's pitching with a lead. 1-0 to Cummings. Misses low. 2 balls and no strikes. Cummings is 0 for 2. He struck out swinging in the first, grounded out in the 3rd inning. .264 hitter with a .380 on-base percentage for the year. Pops it foul and out of play to the left side. Strike 1. St. Xavier got a leadoff single from Trevor Corbett in the bottom of the 5th inning. That's what sparked their 2-run rally. They only had 2 hits in the rally. They were both singles, but still they were able to manage to get 2 runs across. Pushed foul to the right this time, 2-2. Single hit by pitch, and then a beautiful sacrifice bunt attempt led to the first run. Sacrifice fly got them the second. 2-2, fouled back. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the team listed as the visitors on the scoreboard, Indiana South Bend. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for the home side, St. Xavier. Hard hit ball, but that's yanked foul to the left. Still 2-2. Markizic, the lanky right-hander, deals. The ball is flown into shallow right center field. Long run, but the right fielder, Shea Brozak, gets there for the first out. Really wasn't that long a run for Brozak. The reason I said long run is because I was watching Ben Meyer the whole way. The center fielder came sprinting over from center. He covered a lot of ground there, and it looked like he was going to make the catch, but Meyer called him off at the last second, and Brozak called him off at the last second, and Brozak was right there. It was his ball, but as a center fielder, of course, you're taught to get to whatever ball you possibly can, and Meyer could have gotten to that one as well. It was in the air a long time. As Termero fouls off the first pitch, foul tipped into the catcher's glove for strike 1. Luis Termero has flown to right and grounded to short. He takes inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. St. Xavier is the 3 seed in this tournament, the highest seed to be playing today. Top 2 teams, St. Ambrose and Olivet Nazarene, got the 1-day bye. Called strike. It's 1-2. The winner of this game will take on the 2 seed tomorrow, and that is Olivet Nazarene. That'll be the 2nd game of tomorrow. Quadruple header tomorrow as Termero swings and misses. Strike 3. 4th strikeout for Trent Markizic. He has retired 6 consecutive hitters after he ran into that trouble in the 4th. The bases were loaded with only 1 out. He got out of it with a double play, and nobody has sniffed the base paths ever since. 3 strikeouts against the last 5 batters. Here's JoJo Nelson. Nelson takes strike 1. First game tomorrow is going to be Judson against St. Ambrose. The second game will be Olivet Nazarene against the winner of this one. Fouled away, 0-2. The loser of this game will play the 3rd of tomorrow's quadruple header, and that'll be a must-win for them. And then the final game tomorrow is going to be St. Francis against the loser of tomorrow's 2nd game. Fouled away, still 0-2. Hopefully that makes sense. So if St. Xavier, for instance, wins this game and then loses to Olivet tomorrow, they will take on St. Francis late tomorrow night. If they win today and tomorrow, then Olivet would play St. Francis tomorrow night. Still 0-2 on Nelson. Nelson had the first extra base hit, in fact, still the only extra base hit in today's game, when he doubled in the 4th inning. These two teams have combined on 6 hits now. 5 of them have been singles. But Nelson's in a hole here, 0-2. Tries to check his swing, but can't do it. Strike 3, and the inning is over. Another strikeout for Marquisic. He's retired 7 in a row, 4 of them on strikes. He is in a groove as we head to the bottom of the 6th. 2-0 Cougars.
Leading off for the Cougars, the second baseman.
2-0 St. Xavier. They took the lead last inning, and now they'll try to add to it. 2, 3, and 4 due up in their batting order, getting their 3rd look each at Gavin Lake, whose first pitch is over for a strike. Lake has allowed just 1 earned run through the first 5 innings. Aside from a couple of straight batters reaching in the 5th inning, he's been outstanding. In fact, Corbett and Orzek, 5 and 6 hitters, the only ones who have given him trouble. So that's grounded over to short. Estremera fires a bullet to first base for the first out of the inning. 1 up, 1 down here in the 6th, and it'll bring up John Simicek. In the 2nd inning, Corbett and Orzek hit back-to-back singles. In the end, no harm was done, but in the 5th, Corbett singled, Orzek was hit by a pitch, and that led to 2 runs scoring thanks to a bunt single, an error, and a sacrifice fly. First pitch swinging, Simicek knocks it foul down the 3rd base line. 1 through 4 in the batting order for St. Xavier have gone a combined 0 for 10. 7 through 9 in the order have gone a combined 1 for 6. And that only hit was a bunt single on an attempted sacrifice. That's flown high out to center field, relatively deep, but Nelson is under it, and he's got it for the 2nd out. Couple of quick outs here in the bottom of the 6th. That's been one of the major trends of today's game. Quick outs going both ways. Trent Marquisic has picked up his strikeout game. He's got 4 of them the last 2 innings, up to 5 overall now. Just 2 strikeouts for Gavin Lake, but there has not been very much hard contact against him. First pitch to Violet misses up high for ball 1. Parker Violet, the left fielder, is 0 for 2. He's grounded out and flown out. Gavin Lake has made very quick work of Violet, who lines this into center field. Nelson started back, now steps in and makes the catch. Another quick out, a 6-pitch, 1-2-3, 6th inning. We'll go to the 7th with 3 innings to play. The Titans will try to get their offense going. It's St. Xavier by 2. 2-0, top 7. Goodman, Turner, and Barnes due up for Indiana South Bend, and the first pitch is knocked into left field. A leadoff hit for Clint Goodman. That snaps a string of 7 straight retired by Trent Markizic. It's just the 3rd hit of the ball game for IUSB, but it'll bring the tying run to the plate. Goodman is 1 for 3 now. And the batter is Nick Turner. 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch. First time in the game that South Bend has gotten their leadoff batter on base. Turner drops a bunt down the first base line. It is picked up by Simicek, who sprints to the bag to retire Turner on the force, but it is a successful sacrifice as Goodman moves up to second base with 1 away. It's getting a little late in the game to see a play like that, just because the Titans are down to their final 9. Well, now, after that bunt, their final 8 outs. If you're down by 1 run, you'd understand it, but down by 2, those outs are valuable. They just gave 1 up to advance 1 runner into scoring position. Jack Barnes takes the ball down low. St. Xavier was shut down in the bottom of the 6th inning on just 6 pitches. That's the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Waskevich, Simicek, and Parker Violet. I was talking last inning about how well that part of the batting order has been handled by Gavin Lake as Barnes fouls it off to even the count. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the order. Theoretically, your 4 best hitters have now gone a combined 0 for 12 for the Cougars. But significantly, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters especially have been retired lightning fast by the right-hander Lake. That's tapped back to the mound. The play is at first base as it's flipped underhand by Markizic to retire Barnes 1 to 3. Goodman advances to third base. He hit a leadoff single. Very promising start to this inning, and now already down to their final out with the runner at third base. It'll be up to Sam Garner to get him in. Waskevich, Simicek, and Violet. That's the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for St. Xavier. They've gone a combined 0 for 9, and they have seen a combined total of 17 pitches. So they've not only been out every time up, they've been out extremely quickly every time up. Sam Garner steps in and takes strike 1. If you're a pitcher and you can shut down the 2, 3, and 4 batters like that, that's the heart of the order. You're doing something right. You're probably having a pretty good day, and Gavin Lake is. Just to be clear, for as well as Gavin Lake has pitched, he's been the less impressive of the 2 pitchers today. Markizic looking to get out of another inning as it's flown into left center. Catch made by Ben Meyer, and Markizic now has 7 shutout innings under his belt. He pitches around a leadoff single and gets 3 quick outs immediately afterwards. Time to stretch here in Game 2 of the CCAC tournament. The 3rd-seeded Cougars of St. Xavier looking to advance. They lead 2-0. Trevor Corbett leads things off in the bottom of the 7th for St. Xavier University, which is 6 outs away from a spot in round 2 of the tournament tomorrow in the winner's bracket. Corbett takes strike 1. Corbett, Orzek, and Dreyer are due up against Gavin Lake. We're in the 7th inning. Both starters still going strong in this game, and why not? We've seen only 7 combined hits. Strike called, 0-2. We have seen only 9 combined base runners. Those 7 hits plus 1 hit by pitch for each side. Reached out and chopped to the right side of the infield. Lucas Brown has to charge it and throw quickly. He does. Good play by the second baseman. Corbett is retired for the first time today. That's 7 straight set down by Gavin Lake. It feels like a quiet 7 in a row. He set down 7 straight and then gave up 3 consecutive base runners, 2 of whom scored. And now he's retired 7 straight again. You want to scatter hits as much as possible when you're a pitcher. That has not been the case today. The 4 hits for the Cougars have both come in pairs. That's popped a mile high into shallow center. Stepping back onto the outfield grass is the shortstop Lennox Estremera, who makes the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. Every time you think it can't keep going just like this, 1 pitch outs, 2 pitch outs, over and over and over again, it just keeps happening. The last 5 outs have been recorded on a grand total of 10 pitches by Gavin Lake. He's gotten 8 straight guys out, and during that stretch, he has only thrown 1 ball. Fouled away, strike 1. And I'm going to reiterate something I said at the end of last inning. He hasn't even been the most impressive pitcher going today. Trent Markizic has been even better. It has been a great ball game for pitchers. Lake and Markizic in an outstanding duel. Strike at the knees of Dreyer. The count is 0-2. The 1 defensive miscue looms large. Only 1 error on the scoreboard was committed by IUSB in the 5th inning, and it led to a run scoring. Another high pop-up, this one in foul territory behind home plate. Termero watches it go well out of play. Still 0-2. Gavin Lake has thrown 3 complete games this season. So him pitching into the 7th today is not all that shocking, especially when you consider how many quick outs he's recorded. On a cool day, his arm, I'm sure, is still feeling fresh here in the 7th. Ball high. Count goes to 1-2. It is a cool day. The temperature's been dropping throughout the day. It was at its warmest this morning. And now the sun is setting, so it should be getting pretty chilly soon as that shot into center field, a base hit for Noah Dreyer. So after throwing just his 2nd ball in the last 3 innings, Gavin Lake gives up his first hit since the bunt single to Noah Dreyer in the 5th. Dreyer's got his 2nd hit of the game here in the 7th. Runner at first, 2 outs. The batter is Bo Palicki. He's 0 for 1 today, and he takes ball 1. He grounded out his first time up. Palicki was pinch hit for last time. He was replaced in that at-bat by Jackson Mitchko. Pickoff throw to first, and he got him. So Gavin Lake gives up a rare hit and immediately erases Noah Dreyer on the pickoff at first base. Palicki will lead off in the 8th inning. On our way to the 8th, it's still St. Xavier 2, IUSB nothing. Top of the 8th inning, 2-0. St. Xavier has the lead. Trent Markizic, the starting pitcher, still out there for St. Xavier. He has been spectacular today. He's allowed only 3 hits, 2 of them singles. And he leads off the 8th by throwing strike 1 to a pinch batter for Indiana South Bend, Lennox Estremera, not hitting for himself here in the 8th inning. Instead, it is Mason Warren getting just his 15th at-bat of the season. He hits it foul and is immediately behind in the count, 0-2. Warren this season is 1 for 14 at the plate. He does have 3 RBIs, and he's walked 7 times. Check swing on a pitch in the dirt. He went around, strike 3. A 3-pitch strikeout begins the 8th inning. A little over-aggressive in his first and probably only at-bat of the game. Doug Boozy threw him in there, probably thinking he hasn't hit a lot this year, but he's done a good job of getting on base. Just 1 hit, but 7 walks. And they need a base runner here, and they need an early base runner. Now they'll try to get one with 1 out as Lucas Brown takes ball 1. Brown is 0 for 2. He's lined out to right and struck out looking against Markizic, who has piled up those strikeouts as the game has gone on. 1-1 on Brown. 6 Ks on the score sheet overall today now for Markizic. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's taken over the outside corner. It's 1-2. 1 out, nobody on. IUSB is down to their final 5 outs today. Grounded foul past first, still 1-2. And Markizic has barely broken a sweat. He's allowed just the 3 hits, as I mentioned. He hasn't walked anybody. He has hit 1 batter. Just 8 total hits in this game. There have been 2 hit by pitches, but no walks from either side. The 1-2 is flipped into shallow left field. Diving and not able to come up with it is Parker Violet. It's a base hit for Lucas Brown. And IUSB will bring the tying run to the plate here in the top of the 8th inning. I don't know if Violet saw that ball all that well off the bat. He kind of froze and then dove instead of coming straight at it. So I think he didn't get a good look at it off the contact from Lucas Brown, and Brown gets a hit out of it. Still a good effort from Violet. He laid out and the ball hit his glove, but he just couldn't complete it to the ground. Ball 1 high on Jaden Cummings, who was looking to bunt there, or at least showing bunt. Whether or not he actually wanted to drop one down, I can't say. 1-0 on Cummings, who has struck out, grounded out, and flown out. Shows bunt again and takes a strike at the knees. The count is even at 1. 3 times today, South Bend has gotten a runner into scoring position. They had the bases loaded back in the 4th with only 1 out. That inning ended on a double play. And then the only other time they've had a man in scoring position was last inning. In the 7th, Clint Goodman hit a leadoff single, eventually made it as far as third base before that inning ended. We're going to get a pinch runner at first base. It's Ben Dubs. Coming in with a 1-1 count on Cummings. Dubs replaces Brown. Ready to continue the at-bat, Markizic sets and throws over to first base. The IUSB bullpen has remained empty throughout this game. Gavin Lake has been dominant for the most part through 7 innings. For the first time all game, St. Xavier does get their bullpen up and active. Swing and a miss from Cummings. It's 1-2. Nick Kruger is the reliever throwing down the left field line. My best guess right now is that's a just-in-case kind of bullpen session. I don't think they're looking to take out Markizic anytime soon. Ball inside, 2-2. In fact, Kruger has already stopped throwing. Maybe just getting himself lightly loose in case he's needed for the ninth. 2-2. Up high, ball 3. Full count on Cummings. He has worked some good at bats today. Nothing to show for it in terms of times on base, but he has made Markizic work pretty much every time. He does so again here as a pickoff throw to first sends Dubs back to the bag. Ben Dubs is a sophomore reserve utility man who's seen a lot of action on the base paths this year. Not a lot in the field or at the plate, but he runs the bases, as will Jaden Cummings here. He takes ball 4 high. Here we are in the top of the 8th inning. First time that either team has issued a walk today. And it puts St. Xavier in a precarious position with runners at first and second and only one out. And Luis Termero coming up after a meeting on the mound. This is a dangerous man to have in the batter's box. The ball doesn't seem to be carrying all that well today. It's a big ballpark to begin with. Not an easy one to hit home runs in. But Luis Termero is a guy who can do it. 10 homers this year. A team leading 45 RBIs. He's a base hit away from cutting the deficit in half. An extra base hit away potentially from tying the score. And if he can put one over the fence for a team leading 11th time this year, we'd be looking at an Indiana South Bend lead. Nothing but zeros on the scoreboard except in the bottom of the 5th. St. Xavier scored 2 runs on a couple of singles, a hit by pitch, and an error. And they have been coasting on that lead ever since, but for the first time in quite a while, Trent Markizic looks just a little bit shaky on the mound. Single followed by a walk, and now it's Luis Termero. First pitch to Termero is in the dirt, 1-0. Kruger has resumed throwing in the St. Xavier bullpen. 1-0. Look to second base, now to the plate. Termero gets it off the hands and fouls it off to the right side. Out of play, 1-1. Indiana South Bend, the 6th seed in the tournament, trying to upset the 3 seed and move on as that's popped up into shallow right field. An infield fly rule is in effect. Max Wiskavich makes the catch. In addition to that, 2 away. Runners stay put. Cummings at first, Dubs at second. And now with 2 down, it's up to JoJo Nelson, another very dangerous bat in the middle of the IUSB batting order. I say move on with a win, as though both teams won't play tomorrow. They are both guaranteed at least 1 game tomorrow. One of these 2 teams could even play 2 games tomorrow. JoJo Nelson is 1 for 3 with a double. He takes ball 1 low. Nelson is a .342 hitter this year, a .556 slugging percentage, 24 extra base hits, 41 RBIs, another big bat with runners on base. He takes a strike. It's 1-1. The whole game does not necessarily boil down to this, but I will say that if Markizic can get through both Termero and Nelson with 2 runners on base in the 8th, the 9th might feel like a breeze in comparison. Ball low, 2-1. Not that he would ever think that way. That's a dangerous way to think as a pitcher. The only thing he's thinking about right now is retiring Nelson, and he's behind him in the count. Nelson flies it high out to left field, shallow, towards the foul line, but it'll stay fair by plenty as Jack Barnes gets to the spot and makes the catch. The inning is over, and 2 are left on base for Indiana South Bend. Markizic takes a scare in the 8th, but he fights his way through it, and the shutout is intact as we go to the bottom of the 8th. 2-0 Cougars. Last chance for St. Xavier to add some insurance. They've got a 2-0 lead. As we begin the bottom of the 8th inning, Bo Palicki leads things off. And Palicki takes strike one. I'll tell you how you can tell somebody's throwing a good game. We're in the 8th inning. Palicki was a starter, and he's getting just his second at-bat today. The 0-1 is grounded over to the shortstop. Estremera gathers and throws one away. Now, there are some asterisks you could put on that. Number one is Palicki was pinch hit for earlier in the game. So this was his second at-bat in the 8th inning, but the first one was back in the 3rd, and in between it was a pinch hitter taking that spot in the batting order. The second is that Palicki actually came up in the 7th inning, and then when Noah Dreyer was picked off, the at-bat was halted until it started again in the 8th. Ben Meyer fouls off the first pitch. That one looked like it got him around the knob of the bat. He tried to check his swing and then lean back, and it got just the edge of the bat. So it's 0-1 on Meyer, who takes the ball outside, 1-1. I'll tell you another way you can tell somebody's pitching a good game. The score's 2-0 in the 8th inning. Probably don't need any more evidence than that it's been well pitched by both starters. The 1-1, grounded foul to the third base side. It's 1-2. Meyer is 0 for 2. He's flown out and popped out. Gavin Lake still going strong here in the 8th. He has thrown only 76 pitches through 7 1/3 innings. Number 77 misses outside, 2-2. His counterpart Trent Markizic has been even better. No runs allowed through 8. 6 strikeouts for him, pitched out of a big jam in the 8th inning. Ball in the dirt, 3-2. But Markizic has thrown 107 pitches, so whether or not he'll come out to pitch the 9th, we'll have to wait and see. Kruger was warming up in the bullpen last inning. He's not throwing right now, but that doesn't mean we won't see him in the 9th. He's already gotten himself up and started to get loose a few times, so he should be ready to go if they need him. There's a line drive into left center field, a long run for Nelson, and he drops it. Around first, Meyer heads for second and dives in safely. One-out base runner for SXU. Nelson didn't seem to judge that ball all that well. He took something of an awkward route to it. And then when he got there, he still did get to the spot, but he kind of short-armed it, trying to catch the ball down just a little bit above his waist rather than moving his glove higher to pull it in. And it kicked off his glove, turns into a 2-base error. And a big insurance run over at second base. Gavin Lake starts Shea Brozak off with strike one. Brozak is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. The only 2 strikeouts of the game for Gavin Lake. There's a swing and a miss. It's in the dirt. Good block by Luis Termero as he keeps the ball in front of him and does not allow Meyer to advance to second base. The count is 0-2. 1 out, 1 on, bottom of the 8th. One more run from St. Xavier could put this game away. IUSB has not had a lot of success offensively today. Neither have the Cougars. 2 runs, both came in 1 inning. Only one of them was earned against Gavin Lake. That ball is driven into left field way back as Jack Barnes is sent back towards the warning track, but he's able to track it down and make a nice running grab. Good play by Barnes on a deep fly to left field. Back towards the corner. Brozak is retired. His best contact of the day, but it results in an out. Meyer is forced to stay at second base. And with 2 down, the batter is Max Waskevich. Waskevich is 0 for 3 today. He's grounded out 3 times. This time it's hit in the air, but shallow into right field. Cummings is under it. Cummings makes the catch. And the inning is over. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left. SXU cannot add anything extra in the 8th, which means we go to the 9th inning. Last chance coming up for IUSB. They trail it 2-0. We're in the 9th inning. It's 2-0. St. Xavier leads. They scored a pair of runs in the bottom of the 5th, and they have maintained that lead ever since. The Titans have threatened in back-to-back innings but haven't scored, and now they'll take their last chance against Trent Markizic, with Goodman leading off and rolling a weak dribbler down the third base line. It kicks foul. Strike 1 on Clint Goodman, who has reached base twice today. That is not common for either team, and specifically for IUSB, he's the only one to have reached base twice. Singled his last time up. Back in the 4th inning, he reached on a fielder's choice. That was a big play because no outs were recorded on that fielder's choice. Ended up putting runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, and it looked like South Bend was on the verge of scoring the first runs. But a double play ended the inning, and they have not scored since. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. In the 7th, Goodman hit a leadoff single. He made it as far as third base, but was left there. In the 8th inning, a single and a walk put runners at 1st and 2nd with only 1 out, but they didn't score. Fouled back, still 0-2. Markizic has had some easy innings today. 4 of the first 8 innings of the game, he has retired the Titans in order. Going way back to the 1st, he did so without throwing a single ball. He threw just 10 pitches. Sent them down 1-2-3 on strikes. There's a line drive foul, still 0-2. 1 strikeout in that inning. So he's had some impressive innings. The 5th and 6th, both of them, he went 1-2-3 and had 2 strikeouts in each of those innings. So he's had some really impressive work today. The last 2 innings, what's been impressive is his steal in pitching out of trouble. Fouled away again. Goodman will see a 4th 0-2 pitch. Sometimes it's just as impressive, sometimes even more so. You have to pitch through an entire inning with runners on base and have the resolve to get out of it without allowing runs. Ball low, 1-2. Nick Kruger continues to warm up in the bullpen. Markizic now closing in on 115 pitches for the game. This will be number 114. Ball low, 2-2. That's not always the number that's most important. Sometimes it's how much stress has gone into each one of those pitches. In the last few innings, the answer is a lot. Earlier in the game, maybe not so much. 2-2. Strike 3 called. Goodman goes down looking. 1 away in the 9th. He fell behind 0-2, fouled off 3 straight pitches, worked the count to 2-2, and a tough way to go down as he strikes out looking, the 7th strikeout of the game for Trent Markizic. And the leadoff man is retired for the 8th time today. Here's Nick Turner. Dropped down a sacrifice bunt his last time up. Officially, he's 0 for 1 as he takes a ball. He's also been hit by a pitch. Jack Barnes is on deck. The 1-0 misses the outside corner. 2 balls and no strikes. Winner of this game goes on tomorrow to face Olivet Nazarene, the number 2 seed in this tournament. That's popped up. Shallow left field. Violet comes in. Corbett goes back, and Trevor Corbett makes a very difficult catch in shallow left field for the 2nd out of the 9th inning. Looked like Parker Violet was on that one. That usually would go to the left fielder, but Corbett called him off and made a really impressive over-the-shoulder catch, sprinting out from the shortstop position. Just 1 out to go now, as St. Xavier looks to advance to the winner's bracket. If they can get this final out, IUSB would play late tomorrow afternoon. They'd have the 4 o'clock game. St. Xavier would have the 1 o'clock game. Again, it would be St. Xavier against Olivet. Indiana South Bend would take on the loser of the morning game tomorrow. Check swing, called strike 1 on Barnes. He's 1 for 3 in the game with a single. Both these teams entered the tournament hoping to make a run, and they both still will hope to make a run after this. Regardless of how it finishes, it's fouled away. Titans are down to their final out, their final strike now. Kind of goes without saying, I think, in a 6-team tournament where only the top 6 qualify, that anyone can win it. I think that is absolutely true this year. The 0-2 pitch misses low for ball 1. But it's also, I think, fairly self-evident that it's a lot harder to win the tournament when you lose game 1. IUSB is 1 strike away from doing just that. A 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and it's over. Trent Markizic goes the distance. A brilliant 9-inning performance. He ends it with his 9th strikeout of the game. And St. Xavier takes the opening round contest by a final score of 2-0. The 3 seed moves into the winner's bracket tomorrow afternoon to take on Olivet Nazarene. St. Xavier trying to win this tournament for the 2nd consecutive season, and they're off to a good start. Their starter got off to a really good start today. In fact, both team starters were fabulous in today's game. Neither team had a base runner in the first. Both teams got somebody on in the second, but nobody seriously threatened to score until we got into the 4th inning of the game. Indiana South Bend was the first one to put together a real scoring threat. Josiah Nelson doubled. Clint Goodman reached on a fielder's choice, and an error advanced him to second, so there were runners at 2nd and 3rd with only 1 out. Nick Turner was hit by a pitch. That loaded the bases, but it set up double play situation. Jack Barnes hit a grounder up the middle, 6-4-3 double play, and the inning was over. The Titans did not score. In the bottom of the 5th, St. Xavier broke the scoreless tie when Trevor Corbett singled. Aaron Orzek was hit by a pitch, and Noah Dreyer came up with a bunt base hit that ended with the ball being thrown away at first. The throwing error led the first run of the game to score. It made it 1-0 Cougars in the 5th inning. Just 2 pitches later, Jackson Mitchko hit a sacrifice fly to center field. That scored the pinch runner Panazzo and made it 2-0. Who knew back in the bottom of the 5th that would be all the scoring we saw? For St. Xavier, after that run scored in the 5th inning, they only had 1 hit the rest of the game. Gavin Lake was absolutely brilliant today for Indiana South Bend, but it comes in a losing effort because the Titans could not break through offensively against Trent Markizic. They had a chance in the 7th following a leadoff single from Clint Goodman. He made it all the way to 3rd but was stranded there. And then in the 8th inning, a single and a walk with 1 out put 2 runners on base for Indiana South Bend, but a pop out and a fly out ended that threat. They did not threaten in the 9th. The last 5 batters of the game retired by Markizic, including 2 of the final 3 on strikes. He finishes with 9 strikeouts in the game. Our final totals today for Indiana South Bend, no runs, 4 hits, 1 error. For St. Xavier, no runs, 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error in the ball game. The winning pitcher, Trent Markizich, 9 innings, no runs, 9 strikeouts. The losing pitcher, Gavin Lake, went 8 innings. He was outstanding today. He struck out only 2, but he allowed only 4 hits and didn't walk anybody, but he takes a very tough luck loss in his 4th complete game of the season. For Trent Markizich, it is complete game number 3 this year. St. Xavier plays tomorrow against Olivet Nazarene in the winner's bracket. Shortly after that, Indiana South Bend will take on the loser of the morning game tomorrow in the loser's bracket as round 2 commences tomorrow with 4 ball games, the busiest day of the CCAC tournament. That's going to do it for this one. St. Xavier beats Indiana South Bend by a final of 2-0. Until tomorrow, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off from Joliet, Illinois. Round 1 of the CCAC tournament is in the books. Have a nice night.